Offense, great drive.
Go!
Stop. 1, 2, 3, hit.
Welcome into practice today, presented by SiriusXM. Take a look at Quinnen Williams right off the jump, launching a football. I don't know how long that throw was.
I'd say 40 yards.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, easy.
Wow, the big man is nimble, huh? All right, welcome into practice today, presented by SiriusXM. Taking a look right now at the Jets warming up, preparing for the second game of a two-game homestand. The New Orleans Saints coming to town. The Saints come marching in to MetLife Stadium.
Who dat?
But first off, what's up with this weather? Like Saturday, we're talking 60s. Sunday, 47. This is almost approaching the holiday season now, and we're talking 50s and 60s.
Hold it. Do you want cold? Last
No.
night it was snowing.
No.
It was snowing here in Jersey last night. Was it in the city?
I don't think it was. Maybe like a little bit, but I was also asleep very early.
Okay, there were snowflakes on the ground, and Reggie, my pup, and I ran this morning. It's cold today, but this weekend, you're right, the weather's crazy because it's going to be 65 on Saturday for that Army-Navy game that you know Elijah Riley's going to be keeping a close eye on.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have to talk about that a little later on in the show, but let's move on to today's headline. This Jets offense is banged up right now, EA. Earlier this week, Corey Davis was placed on injured reserve. He's having season-ending core muscle surgery. Elijah Moore, day-to-day with a quad injury. He did not practice yesterday, but then on the positive side, Keelan Cole back in the lineup. He was activated off of the reserve COVID list.
Yeah, and that would really be a shot in the arm for the Jets. If Elijah Moore's out of the lineup and Corey Davis is already out of the lineup, you really could use Keelan Cole this week. In fact, Cole leads the Jets in terms of yards per catch. I think back to that Houston game a couple weeks ago. Fourth down, got to have it for the Jets, and Wilson delivered. Great catch by Keelan Cole. It's the guy we got to monitor this week, though, is number 8. Elijah Moore, dynamic playmaker, 6 touchdowns on the year now. He has been really going of late. 12 targets last week against the Eagles, 6 catches, 77 yards, and the touchdown. He's got the quad injury, did not practice yesterday.
Yeah, so that's something we're going to have to watch. Like I said earlier, Elijah Moore considered day-to-day. He has 5 touchdowns over his last 5 games. This Saints defense, as we talk about the matchup here, let's say Elijah Moore is or is not in the lineup, however you want to answer that. What kind of challenges does this Saints defense represent that also is dealing with some missing bodies up front or potential missing bodies?
Yeah, I think for the Saints, you start at the linebacker position, then move to the secondary. Demario Davis, former Jet. The green and white faithful know him awfully well. Year in, year out, he is one of the best inside linebackers in the National Football League. And then this is a very good secondary. They got good safeties. I think the most talented piece back there, you would say, is Marshawn Lattimore. But this is a defense that's going to come and pressure Zach Wilson. The one thing they do very well, they do a couple things very well. They stop the run. They're number 5 in the National Football League against the run. And then they tighten up inside the red zone, ranking 3rd in the National Football League inside that red area.
Right, and that's very important, especially considering what the Jets did last week on offense from an early part of the game. Touchdowns in each of his 3 first possessions. This is an interesting number. The Saints have only scored 24 total first quarter points. That's an average of 3.5 per game, right? The Jets obviously last week on a hot streak there. If the Jets offense can get off to a hot start, how would that help them against this Saints team that scored almost all of their points in the fourth quarter with 180?
Well, it would be huge because that's a Saints offense that is really trying to find itself, but they might get a big-time boost in the offensive backfield because reports out of New Orleans so far early this week is Alvin Kamara might be a go, and that changes the dynamic of what the Saints are doing as we're watching Zach Wilson get warmed up with the camo sweatshirt. But Taysom Hill, last week against the Cowboys, his counterpart, ran it for more than 100 yards. He was intercepted 4 times, though. A lot of that damage coming in the fourth quarter.
Right, and we'll talk about Taysom Hill and this Saints offense. The Jets play the Saints at home. Only a couple games left home at MetLife Stadium, and therefore your 2022 New York Jets season tickets are on sale right now. You can place a $100 refundable deposit to secure the best seats and pricing for every game next season at MetLife Stadium. You got to go to nyjets.com/season tickets to learn more. Moving on to our Jet in Focus, let's hit the special teams angle here on Practice Today, presented by SiriusXM. Braxton Barrios, of course, started last game. 79-yard kick return. He leads the NFL in kick return average. He's also second in punt return average among players with at least 5 returns, or more than 5 returns.
And he's got 26 catches on the year for 251 yards receiving. We're talking about wide receivers here at the top of the show. Look at those stats.
How about the name Byron Pringle, by the way? Great name.
You like it, huh?
Yeah, I also like Pringles.
I knew you were going to bring up food somehow.
How could I not? His last name is Pringle.
Did you just listen, by the way, not to get sidetracked, but did you just listen to LaFleur right now? Jets offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur?
No, I was in a meeting.
He said, I'm sorry. But he said Barrios got little man syndrome, and he can relate to that.
Yeah, if I'm Braxton Barrios, am I offended by that my offensive coordinator just said that?
Here's what I don't understand about National Football League players is that Braxton Barrios he's not a small guy. Like, if you're walking by him on the street, you're like, oh, that's a pretty jacked up guy, 5'9" plus. He looks like he spends every waking hour in the weight room. You know, he's not, but I guess by NFL standards, he's tiny.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. If I walk by him in the street, or if you're watching a game somewhere at an establishment pre-pandemic, you see Braxton Barrios.
He's doing more than just air squats. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, he is, and he's got the ski mask on.
It's not that cold, fellas. Yeah,
I know. Well, that's because Miami might have hindered his ability to stay warm in the cold, or just he's got maybe a little softer there.
So Barrios had that long reception against Houston indoors, and then last week he started off the game. That's what you want to see from the Jets, is complimentary football, right? The 79-yard return, it set Zach Wilson and company up for that first touchdown. Really helped them settle into the game, and you want to see more from that. But Braxton Barrios deserves Pro Bowl consideration from a returner perspective.
You led me to my next point. Make sure to vote for that guy right there, number 10, Braxton Barrios. Let's actually hear from him on what a Pro Bowl nomination would mean to him.
It's obviously it's one of the greatest honors, really, individually. I think more so it leads to the fact that I did it, or whoever gets to the Pro Bowl did it over the entire season or the majority of the season, and did it in a way that obviously helped their team. And I think that's the part I take pride in. If that happens, that's awesome. But I really I relish in the fact that I was able to bring up my team around me for most of the season.
All right, 2 things on Braxton Barrios. One is, did you see the clip that came out when he's talking about getting the B in college? Because he was the valedictorian of his class.
I know. That dude can do a little bit of everything, huh?
Yeah, he can. And, you talked about the long reception in Houston. Almost scored. I know it wasn't near the goal line, but he had a chance there. Then Ryan Griffin. I mean, if I'm Barrios, I'm like, come on, Griff. Like, you can't hold that guy a second longer, let me go up the sideline, get a touchdown.
Well, we got to stay away from Griff, though. He got banged up later in the game.
Yeah,
right?
That's fair. And he did score a touchdown
himself. Listen, he's done a lot of good things for the Jets. It's too bad. But anyway, you cashed in with the touchdown anyway.
Right. And I just want to see Braxton take a return to the crib. That's all I'm asking for.
I'm watching number 22. We've talked about the receiver position, but Tevin Coleman in concussion protocol. If he can't go, what does the Jets' offensive backfield look like this week?
Well, that's a great point. Let's bring up the injury report. Let's take a look at it, because to your point, Tevin Coleman is one of many lists, or many guys on this list. This is the most extensive group so far that we've had on Practice Today, presented by SiriusXM. Tevin Coleman, the second guy on that list. So if it's not Tevin Coleman, then you're looking at Ty Johnson, probably the leader of the pack there, followed by Austin Walter and LaMichael Pirine, who you just mentioned. And Pirine hasn't had a whole lot of run. I believe he's had a single carry this season. So if Coleman is, in fact, out of the lineup, I would expect a heavy dose of Ty Johnson. And, of course, this team is without Michael Carter, the running back. And let's actually talk about the cornerbacks first. because Michael Carter II, also in concussion protocol. Robert Saleh said he's optimistic he'll play. But there's a sight for sore eyes. 26, Brandon Echols, designated to return to practice. So what kind of boost or stability do you think he could provide if he's up Sunday?
Well, he was the guy who was playing opposite Bryce Hall for all of early in the season. And you're talking about a kid who was, a sixth-round draft pick. And Brandon Echols, I thought, acquitted himself quite well early on in his NFL career. I'm going to be interested to see if he is indeed the guy back in the starting lineup. And if you get Carter back, then those are your opening day starters. You get Echols back on one side. You got Bryce Hall, who's got a team-leading 10 PDs. And then Michael Carter II, knock on glass here, inside the BetMGM studio. He's out of concussion protocol, and then you're more fully equipped in the secondary.
What do you think about this matchup with the Saints receivers? Do you think you could make the argument this is the least talented receiving corps?
No.
No offense to New Orleans. They're dealing with injuries. All right, the injuries that New Orleans is dealing with is off the charts. If you start with Michael Thomas, the all-pro receiver, he has not played this season. Deontay Harris, the team's leader in receiving yards, he will not play. He's suspended for 3 games. This is the first of that 3-game stretch. Then you talk about just the guys behind him, Marquez Callaway, and also another guy part of the all-name team, Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Callaway's a good player, but you're right. Listen, if you follow the Saints throughout the year, they're talking about 2 areas where they would like to see upgrades in the offseason. What are the Saints going to do at quarterback? Remember, this team was 5-2 when Jameis Winston went down, or they were 4-2 when Simeon finished that game against the Buccaneers. But the Saints were 5-2. They come to MetLife Stadium, they're 5-7, and just they're dealing with a lot at that wide receiver position. I think this week is going to be imperative. It is going to be imperative for those guys to come up and play the run, be part of the run defense. And for the Jets defense as a whole, they got to tackle better. Jeff Ulbrich said the count on Monday after watching the game film against the Eagles was 15 missed tackles.
Right, the Saints, to your point, on a 5-game skid, the first streak of that kind since 2005. And, well, Saints quarterback Taysom Hill, we kind of talked about this. He threw 4 picks last week, but the potential difference on offense, like EA said, Alvin Kamara potentially back in the lineup. So let's head inside the film room for a closer look with another Baldy's Breakdown presented by Sharp.
Thanks, Ethan. I'd like to take a look at the Saints offense with Ryan Ramczyk and Teron Armstead and without those 2 tackles because they make a difference. Teron Armstead, 72, and Ryan Ramczyk, 71. If they're healthy, back from their knee injuries this week, this is a very good offensive line. And there's very little they can't do. Regardless of who's playing quarterback and who's playing running back, they can move the football when their tackles are in the game, like they are right here against the Falcons. And they show a 6-man pressure and they back out. But you just look at the quarterback right here, Trevor Siemian, got time to get the ball down the field to his tight end. Without them in the lineup, they're just not as good, regardless who's playing quarterback. So if you get to their second team offensive tackles, like this offense crumbles. Run and against the pass right here. Watch the right tackle, James Hurst right here. I mean, he's a good player, but he's not Ryan Ramczyk. He's going to give up pressures. And regardless who's at quarterback, they're going to have a hard time staying in the pocket to make a throw. If they're all in there, like they were against the Bucs, including Alvin Kamara, Armstead at the left tackle, Ramczyk at the right tackle, you watch these guys block, I mean, they just open up a hole. And then this guy is just a difference maker, regardless of what they ask him to do. There's nothing he can't do. So really, this is a different Saints team if those 3 players are in or out of the lineup.
Like we talked about earlier, this Saints offense ravaged by injuries, and Baldy took a look at Teron Armstead, Ryan Ramczyk. You add in Alvin Kamara, you're talking about either 3 guys that have either been named an All-Pro or a Pro Bowl player. So what kind of challenge does this Jets D-line have? Not only if those 3 guys are in the lineup, but also then you factor in Taysom Hill's ability to run the ball, and he ran for over 100 yards last week.
That's just that. I mean, you just hit the nail on the head. It's Taysom Hill, and it also is Sean Payton. He's one of the best guys, best coaches schematically over the years. Week in, week out, this guy gets his players ready to play. But with Taysom Hill, he put so much pressure on the defense because of what he can do with his feet, not only when the play breaks down, but they design plays for him to run the football.
And also,
and Kamara, listen,
that guy, he's disgusting.
We can't think about him in terms of just running the football out of the backfield. He is an accomplished receiver who can make people look silly in the open field.
He leads the Saints in terms of receptions. And also the last time Alvin Kamara faced the Jets, his rookie year, 2017, he had 89 total yards and a touchdown. Mark Ingram most likely will not play this Sunday. He's on the reserve COVID list. He had 151 scrimmage yards and 2 touchdowns last time he saw the Jets. That game was in New Orleans. Obviously, two total different teams. Drew Brees was on that team. The Jets obviously did not have the roster that it has now. But the point remains the same. Alvin Kamara is a difference maker. And if he's able to play, especially with those 2 tackles, the challenge up front is a steep one.
But
like last week.
We looked at the Jets injury report. We did not look at the Saints injury report, but you just said that Ramczyk did not practice on Wednesday. Let's see what happens on Thursday. Yeah, that offense looks a lot differently, as Baldy just articulated and showed us inside the film room with both of those tackles playing.
All right, and also just to hear some good news, see Sheldon Rankins right there, former New Orleans Saint, putting on a helmet. I mean, his body's kind of turned sideways, so you can't tell it's a 98, so you have to trust me on that one. But that's good news for the Jets because Baldy talked about the tackles. Well, the Jets' interior is probably the strength of the group with Quinnen, Sheldon Rankins, Folorunso Fatukasi, and Nathan Shepard and Jonathan Marshall, who you see on the screen. So that bodes well for the Jets in terms of Sunday.
Yeah, it would be big for Sheldon Rankins to play against his former team. That's a team who drafted him out of Louisville in the first round a few years back. Injury plagued a couple last seasons with the Saints, but here's a guy who's been a valuable piece of that defensive line. He's been out of the lineup of late for the Jets, so you know he'd be chomping at the bit to get a chance to play the Saints.
All right, it's time for a stats amazing segment here on Practice today. We're going to go to the offensive side of the ball here. Jets tackle George Fant has allowed 1 sack in 502 pass blocking snaps this season, according to Pro Football Focus. He posted a season-high 85.1 pass block rate Sunday against the Eagles.
Love George Fant. And just think about what he's done here this year. He started a career high as far as games last year, and then he didn't know if he was going to be in the starting lineup week 1. He ends up in the starting lineup against the Carolina Panthers at right tackle. Mekhi Becton goes down in that game. He shifts over to left tackle, and he's really flourished. He's a guy who came in known for his basketball ability when he started his career with the Seattle Seahawks, but he's really made the most of his career. Great feet, good length, and he talked all offseason about this system being perfect for him, and he's had a very good year. The Jets' left side of the line, and I don't think we'd ever be saying this, knowing that Mekhi Becton would go down this season. The left side of the line has been very good with Fant and Elijah Vera-Tucker.
And also, since we're talking about Pro Football Focus, let's throw Connor McGovern in there because since week 2, he's been Pro Football Focus's number 4th graded center.
That's huge.
So the Jets' middle to left side of the line really coming on strong this year. And to EA's point, you probably wouldn't have expected that without the big ticket in the lineup. And for more numbers, let's hear from NFL Network analytics expert Cynthia Freeland.
Ethan, EA, what's up? Happy week 14. I've got 3 contextual stats for you before the Saints come to town on Sunday. The first number is 23. As in last week against the Eagles, Bryce Hall again had a great showing. He only allowed 2 receptions for 23 total yards. The next number is 22.8. As in, since week 8, the Jets have averaged 22.8 points per game. And the Saints defense, they've allowed over 27 points per game in 5 of their last 6 contests. And the last number was -1. Saints quarterback Taysom Hill became the first quarterback in Next Gen Stats history to have negative passing yards under pressure with -1 yard last week against the Cowboys. Hill threw 4 total interceptions, with 3 coming on pass attempts of more than 10 air yards, 2 when facing the blitz, and 1 under pressure. A major key to this game figures to be if the Jets can contain him on the ground and dial up pressure on passing downs.
numbers. Got to give a shout out to Katie who put that together with the little jazz music underneath it. I know the game's at MetLife, but it doesn't mean we can't get some New Orleans flavor.
The Jazz Festival's coming up in the spring in New Orleans. Nice job by Katie.
All right, so now let's wrap up the show here on Practice Today, presented by SiriusXM with the option route. So with that, question number 1, New Orleans flavored. Which New Orleans dish is the best? Is it a po' boy, a beignet? Is it gumbo? Is it something else? What are we talking about here? And let's get some photos. Let's see what we can visually present to the audience here. Because those photos, I got to be honest.
Is that a beignet?
I personally believe.
I've never seen a beignet with that kind of sauce.
Me neither. I also think the po' boy in that photo looks like I could get it from a deli in Madison. And it doesn't look like it'd be a good deli, I'll tell you that.
There are good delis in Madison. That's not a shot at Madison.
No, it's not. I'm just saying it doesn't look native to New Orleans.
Listen, if I'm going down to New Orleans right now, I'm finding me some gumbo.
I'm also finding gumbo. Have you ever done like a crawfish boil? I have not.
No, I've not done a crawfish boil. Shrimp po' boy's fine. You know, beignet, I'm not much of a guy who's going to go for breakfast and give me some.
Yeah, can we pull that photo up again? I just want to point something out in terms of the beignet, because my understanding was that the beignet almost looked like fried dough, right, with like a little powdered sugar. Whatever sauce that is looks spicy, and that looks like a dinner option or like an appetizer or an hors d'oeuvre if we're going French on you.
It almost looks like one of those deals that you get and you got to heat up because it's already cooked. You put it, take it out of the freezer, and then you slap on some sauce. I don't know. That is not a good looking beignet.
And the gumbo, I mean, I'm all for gumbo, but I thought the vessel would be more of a bowl. That was like a hybrid plate bowl. Regardless, we're both going gumbo.
Over the years, I've been with the Jets for a number of games down in New Orleans, and the gumbo is never the wrong choice.
I agree with that. All right, that leads us to question number 2, which brings us to Saturday at MetLife Stadium. Army-Navy, we know Elijah Riley obviously has a horse in that race. But is Army-Navy the best college football rivalry, or is it another rivalry like Ohio State-Michigan?
Oh, my God.
Florida State, EA? I mean, you're a Gator. Maybe that's up there?
It's a big rivalry, but it doesn't take on national significance, I don't think. Now, in the state of Florida, monstrous. And I'll tell you what, this might be a little bit before your time. Florida State and Miami used to have a hell of a rivalry.
That is a little before my time, but I do respect it because I've read about it, and obviously I've seen the U documentary. That plays a big role there too.
They got a new football coach down there. I don't know. Army-Navy, I think it's so significant that I think it's bigger than college football, Army-Navy, where, those are our military service people. Everybody who serves is going to watch that game, and we have people serving around the world. So it's 364 days where they're all together, but as Elijah Riley said, one day of the year where it's all about us, go Army. And I'm sure that's the same way for Navy.
I definitely agree with you. It almost feels like it's bigger.
So Ohio State, Michigan?
Yes.
Caroline Hendershot of Michigan alum?
Yes.
Has joined our team. What do you think about that rivalry?
I think you put me in a tough spot here because you just said Army-Navy is bigger than football. So I'm going to say the best college rivalry is Ohio State-Michigan. I do think, like, as two football teams, yes, I think that is the best in a vacuum because of the history there, the significance there. If you were to tell me, I do agree with you, though, Army-Navy a little bigger than that and therefore adds a little extra significance.
In college football, though, it might be Ohio State-Michigan. College sports overall might be North Carolina Duke basketball.
Yeah, that's a good one. Historically also, I mean, Syracuse-Georgetown is the only rivalry that I was a part of, and I know that's pretty big, but that was even predated me because Syracuse joined the ACC. They were in the Big East one year when I was at Syracuse. So
Notre Dame-USC, big football rivalry.
That's a good one. So that's a debate.
Should be
for
getting
another
better
time.
now that Lincoln Riley's there.
Yes, but this is, we're going to table the college talk.
Look, there's a lot of good college football rivalries.
There are, and that's what makes horse races. But anyway, question number 3. My Cause, My Cleats. There's a poll going on right now on the New York Jets Instagram account. Make sure to vote here. You're taking a look at the bracket here. We're in the Elite Eight. You were talking about college sports. We're basically in the Elite Eight of the My Cause, My Cleats bracket. The winner wins $5,000. So therefore, EA, of the remaining, whose cleat would you vote for? And these are what they look like. We're not going to attach players to them, even though some of them you might already know. Here are the shoes, the heat on the feet. Which player you're going with?
I'm going top left, Quinnen Williams. And we can see the cleats, but we also can see Quinnen on the field right now. He's an ambassador for the American Cancer Society, stemming from losing his mother to breast cancer. Quinnen Williams has stepped up in the Jets' crucial catch week. He also has a foundation that spreads $50,000 of holiday joy amongst 100 single-parent families selected personally by him in the Birmingham, Alabama area, and Q's trying to bring that up here to New Jersey as well. But I just think anytime you talk to Quinnen and you talk to his brother Quincy, they smile when they talk about their mother and her impact on them. And now they're both making her proud. But I really think the cleats with her face on it.
The detail is amazing on
yeah,
that, by the way.
it just amazing. And what he does off the field while he's a terror on the field. He's a good dude, man.
He is a great dude, and he's a big guy with a big smile and a big heart. And I like your answer. I'm going to go in an opposite way in terms of approaching it. I'm going with Ty Johnson just based on the shoe alone, because I don't want to play favorites here in terms of the causes. They're all great. They're all near and dear to their hearts. But I love these shoes. You got the white base. Put that back up there if you can for a minute. I got to dissect the shoe here. What are we doing? We got the white shoe. It's great. We got the emojis on there. We got the paint splatter looking at it. It also supports mental health. I'm all for the shoe. I think this is the best looking shoe, the remainder of the bunch.
Those, just the shoes, the cleats we're looking at right now.
Yes, just the shoe alone.
Awesome design. Really catchy. Fabulous cause. And like you mentioned before, all these guys have just tremendous causes. With all that being said, I am very conservative when it comes to white shoes because I never want to dirty them up.
Well,
that is my fear.
That's out of the equation for these guys. Obviously, whatever shoe they're going to wear is going to get dirty. Can you put the bracket of the full slate of the
Let's
remainder
see
of the
all
shoe?
8.
Yeah, we just got to see all 8 shoes if we can, just so we can, determine a little power ranking. Not of this, of the shoe itself. And because I think Ty Johnson's up there. Elijah Moore's got the pink cleats. He's on the bottom right there. But mental health, stop with the stigma.
Listen, Quinnen's shoes, the color contrast.
Yeah.
I love the blue and the red. It's almost like a blue / almost purple. Okay.
Yeah. Who's got the Dolphins colors? There is a Miami Dolphins top middle row right there. Organization of Autism Research. Great cause.
Yes.
So much like the rest.
Yes.
Whoever designed the shoes, that's questionable. I'm giving it. If I had to designate their status for Sunday, that'd be questionable.
Oh, you got to have something unique. you got.
Oh, LaMichael Pete Ryan, I'm being told. That's his shoe.
That's a Florida Gator, man. Come on now. You got to give.
It's a Florida Gator. It's not a Miami Dolphin.
No, but Florida. Those are Florida colors.
All right. This is
not Florida Gator colors, but they're Florida colors.
They are. And I'm sure LaMichael is enjoying himself in this kind of weather. I'm sure this is like freezing to him. Anyway, that's how we're going to wrap up this episode of Practice Today, presented by SiriusXM. That guy right there.
Did you know that Wilson's got the 2 on his?
They all got them.
On the sweatshirts, huh?
Yeah, I remember seeing Elijah Moore pregame. He had an 8 on his. We got to do something. We got to get some numbers on ours.
Yeah, maybe in the process.
Maybe like an EA.
Maybe in the process of making those now.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. That's a 2022 topic for Salute to Service. But that's all we have here on Practice Today, presented by SiriusXM. You can see that guy on your screen at MetLife Stadium this Sunday, and we'll see you there.